Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Alawakodash double honor unto the elder apostles at great milestone for the teachings of the scriptures among other things. Shalom to the sincere Akim across the world. Now I came across this video a while ago, and I already hate this guy. So because he made another video concerning what was the topic? The topic was that the reason why so-called black people are so strong and all that is because of the breeding sessions that he always talks about our people talking shit, trying to make it seem as if our people are savages and stuff like that. Whatever, he makes it. He comes. He's trying to basically glorify himself as a caucus demonic entity that he is, but breeding. Here, did slave owners breed bigger, stronger slaves? So I didn't even finish the rest. I can't stand devils like this. But they're talking about that, it was selective breeding or something like that. And therefore, our people are stronger. But if you look at South America, until this day, you have great warriors coming out of there, MMA and stuff like that. They're lying to you because those people have not been intermingling and have been selective breeding. There was sex slaves over there. That's why when you look at that country, Brazil, you be looking at them like, damn, a lot of y'all, you look like them and stuff like that. But loose from that. Now going to the West Africans and stuff like that, you have great fighters coming out of there, making it in America and all that type of stuff. They wasn't subjected to selective breeding. And there was a Japanese guy that also said that same thing. That's because they repeat what the caucus is saying, what the Edomites are saying. So, but you have to just ask yourself a question. If that is the truth, why don't you do selective breeding? Hitler tried it. Look how it worked out for him. And the Japanese have a lot of money and funding and stuff like that. Why don't they try it? Huh? Because they found out that it doesn't work. That's what they found out. That's why they have things like this here. That's why they figure out stuff like this here, superhero vaccine. It says here, Stanford scientists are creating a superhero vaccine based on the DNA of Olympic athletes, this is bullshit. It's bullshit. Stop eating their food and then this would disappear. That's not the reason why they're doing this. The reason why they're doing this is taking the blood of a lot of Jacob descendants and of course other athletes of different nations and stuff, even their own and stuff like that. They're taking their DNA in order to make themselves designer babies, in order to make themselves like this. This one, I think it's this. Wait, right? Yes, it is. Now I'm gonna only go to the highlighted things that I highlighted and not the rest. But it says here, human species split into two. It says here, so these Edomites expect a genetic upper class and a dim-witted underclass to emerge. This is what they're creating. Okay, they're busy with it. Yeah. The descendants of a genetic upper class would be tall, slim, healthy, attractive, intelligent, and create a far cry and creative. And a far cry from the underclass humans who would have evolved into dim-witted, ugly, squat, goblin-like creatures. If you notice, it seems like an Asiatic person. If you look at the face, like an Asian female, Japanese female, actually, with the white pale face thing. They used to paint themselves white also, literally like white. The Americans used to do it too. And it was only for the rich European Edomites. Only for the rich. Damn, I don't know how you call it. They used to paint. Oh yeah, paint. But they used to die from it because it used to clog up their pores. think it's this one over here. Yeah. They used to make themselves even wider, but again, this is only for the richer Edomites because the poor didn't have money to go buy this product and then put it on their face. They was thinking about food, man. They was thinking about other stuff, more important things. When you look at these, this is what they used to do. When you look at these celebrities, right? When you look at America and these celebrities, these females be putting thousands of dollars in their face and all that type of stuff. Yeah. The average is not really doing it, but they're trying to catch up. They are trying to catch up because now they kind of have the money to blow out and stuff like that. But normal people don't do that. But when you see America, you see the vision of, you know, let me see. I think it says human. Yeah, this one. Nobody looks human anymore.
I got my third.
So I got my third facelift, whatever. Okay, but there's many of them. They're all fake. They're all fake. So yeah, they do this fat visco thing and all that there and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, let me see here. What the?
He's the beautiful. Stand video is a little bit of cut out.
Yeah. So what they're doing is
these standards, but these features.
So what they're doing is they're doing some kind of surgery thing here where they remove the fat hair and then they look like this and all that there instead of looking like how they used to look and all that there type of stuff. But you can kind of see the rest. I hope you just click on it. Well, you can watch the video. I hope you understand what I'm saying, and you can click the video if you want to. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. A lot of people don't walk like this upon the planet Earth, but when you look at the Hollywood thing, let me see. War against damn, what was it again? What? Hollywood? Yeah. Yeah. This is it.
I got my third facelift.
Are you happy with the result?
Sorry. Right, so this is actually not the intended route I wanted to go for this video, but yeah, I just talked about it, and then all this popped up. But they're trying to show you all these things and stuff like that, right? With the plastic surgery and all these type of things, people don't look human no more. Yeah, whatever. But they're doing it, and it's only the rich, and the average people. They model themselves after the richer people. Plastic surgery and stuff like that. They're trying to catch up to them, you know. So the same thing with the European paintings of back in the days. I mean, the people of back in the days in the paintings that used to paint their faces white. And then they started to die because they were suffocating themselves without them knowing. And yeah. Basically, those are the things that are happening. So Esau is making a superhero vaccine for the rich, the elites, for themselves. And it says here, this is what they want to create. Squad, goblin-like creatures, like in that movie, The Time Machine. Race ironed out. But in the nearer future, humans will have evolved in 1,000 years, which they're lying because they want to do it faster than that. But they just put stuff in your head to make you think it's far away. They're already working on that technology. They most likely got it already. So it says here, turning into giants between 6 feet and 7 feet tall. He's trying to create his Superman, right? He predicts while lifespan will have extended to 120 years, this whatever claims, physical appearance driven by indicators of health, youth, and fertility will improve, he says, while men will exhibit symmetrical facial features, look athletic, and having squarer jaws, deeper voices, and this is the all-time thing that they always wanted, which is, you know, to fuck themselves with, because that's what, you know, that's what the Greek did, that's what the Roman did, it's in their DNA, so they're gonna lust upon themselves. Because That's what they do. That's what they've been doing, you know. Now they can really feel themselves when they're doing the little boy butt buster and stuff like that. They can really feel themselves as real men, you know, because they'd be like, damn, finally, I see blood, you know, stuff like that and shit, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, I gotta mock them at the same time because that's what they do. They've been doing that for thousands of years. Yeah. So anyway, this is what they, since the Greeks is about 2,000, no, 2,500, 2,600, 700 years ago. They've been doing that. And that's only the Greek era. I didn't even mention the other eras. Right? Anyway, this is what they're creating and stuff like that, you know? But anyway, they're lying. They're lying. They're lying. They want it, but because they're so inferior, they need these vaccines, which is stealing DNA from athletes. Who told you that these athletes want to give you their DNA? But you have to, because when you're doing, when you are documented doing contests and races like sprinting and stuff like that, you need to give a blood test. You need to give your DNA. You need to do a blood test for them to see if you use some kind of drugs that they themselves as a race created, to see if you're using it. And if you are disqualified and stuff like that. But if they like you, you know, if you win, probably put some money under the table, whatever. You know how these people get down, you know. They're not the most fair people up on the planet Earth, and you should know that. Anyway, so they're lying to you once more. But yeah, I don't like this guy. So going on back to over here. Now listen carefully, because the guy, this video, okay, let me start this video actually. The video is actually about, this video was actually, is supposed to be actually about the tour that iShowspeed did. iShowspeed made a tour in Africa. And I have never in my head, I never actually thought that the Americans would see Africa like that. It never came across in my head. I saw a few things that they said, and I chin checked it, you know, but I didn't know as a whole that they thought like that. I was like, what the fuck? I did not know that. That's very hilariously funny and crazy at the same time. Like, damn, y'all still believe these devils? I mean, after all the shit that they done, that you still believe these devils? Like, for real? For real? For real? Flying reindeers, bunnies laying eggs. You still don't see that everything and anything that they say and taint is tainted? You don't see that? But they don't see it. Not so peaceful. See? This is what he's teaching right now about the Native Americans, and I'm gonna counter that, because I can't, like, I don't like these devils. I don't like them.
I was sold a kinder, gentler version of Native American history. Noble chiefs, peaceful tribes living in harmony with nature.
That is the truth, because that is literally what they did. But you know what the devil does? He goes out and then he portrays, for example, a lot of people in West Africa and in Asia, and which is China, Japan, Korea, and stuff like that, and also Vietnam, all these other places, you know, Asiatic places, India, and stuff like that. What does he portray so-called black people as? The ones in America, he portrays them as. He portrays them as this. This is what he portrays them as, and also this here. This.
Another huge factor is the media. Black men are
Another huge factor is the media, right?
Visual in certain areas. Sports, music, entertainment, fashion.
This is, oh shit. What kind of irritating?
Sports, music, entertainment.
This is how they portray us in the rest of the world, the ones in America and stuff like that. This is how they portray them and stuff like that, right? Now, let me go on.
Fashion, the list just goes on and on. But notice which black men get shown the most in the media. A lot of times it's usually celebrities like athletes, rappers, men with status, black men that make a lot of money, or black men that have a lot of fame. When it comes to the media, we're rarely shown as regular human beings. And for the ones that don't fit in the celebrity category, we're shown as intense, dominant, hyper-masculine, dangerous, and aggressive. So
yeah, those ones that I just missed there. Kind of irritating.
have with black men is not your everyday black man. A lot of times what they're seeing.
Anyway, the point is, they have an image of us that they push toward the rest of the world and stuff like that, right? So, what are these devils doing? Now he's pushing that same image of them. So he's pushing a small percentage of them that were doing, well, I shouldn't say small. I just should say he's enlarging it. I'm going to give you an example of a fact. Is every so-called black person in America a gangbanger or a violent person or towing guns, walking with his pants down and all that type of stuff and all that? Are you sure about that? You sure about that? 100%? Okay. That's the same thing that he does with these Native Americans with this video, and he is sparking other people also to, is this true? Maybe he's starting to question it, which is good. I didn't see this video, that I hope he's questioning it, because I surely am want to show you with this video that these guys are the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks about. He has a snake tongue. He's twisting stories of the facts and the truth and then blowing up a little small, just like the thing. That's why it's crazy, because I was thinking about this video a long time, and now I see the video of, well, I see a lot of other videos of iShowspeed, and how people are coming out saying like, I didn't know this about Africa. America has propagandized Africa as a poor country living in huts and all these type of things. And like I said, I was looking at it and I was like, you really thought that? I was laughing, but at the same time I started thinking like, see, I told you they're in the box. I told you that they're cut off from the rest of the world, so they created their own thing. Not I only say that. Yeah, I have put up another video of an Arabian guy saying the same type of thing. You know, and he said it better. He's more in with the words and all that type of stuff. So he said it better, you know. But I know that they are cut off from the world because a lot of things they don't know. They don't know. They have no idea what's outside of their borders, outside of their state. Actually, a lot of them have not even been outside of the state that they live in. So I know that.
Until greedy Europeans came along and wrecked it all with destruction and death. That's what they teach us in schools, and that's what Hollywood tells us. It even makes us feel good just for feeling bad about it.
See, he wants you to feel like, oh no, we didn't do anything. They were savages in the first place. That's what you need to see. But now he's going to so-called justify himself.
And at the surface level, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, really?
I mean, Indians once ruled North America. They were here first, and now they're largely gone, confined to reservations that have a whole lot of problems. They're not a visible part of the United States, and that essentially defines genocide. But as I dug into the history of North American warfare, that neat good guys versus bad guys story fell apart.
So see, he wants it to come over as if it is, oh, it wasn't just good, it was just normal, you know, that we killed them because they was killing each other too. And then they show pictures of them scalping and all that. Wait.
Scalping, torturing Indians.
See, scalping, torturing Indians and stuff like that, right?
In village massacres, they were common in North America long before the first white...
So basically, he's saying those things were just common. That's a fucking lie, what he's saying. Like I said, the gang banging and stuff like that, the LA, the Crips and Bloods, all these type of things, they say like this shit's like normal and all that. They're like common. You know what the word common means, man? It's like it's average, you know, like a common chick. You see all these types all over the place, you know, a common hairstyle, a common makeup tutorial usage or whatever the hell, and all that there, you know. Anyway, so if you go down to the comment board, it says here, so in other words, both sides behave like human beings. Okay, cool. So yeah, it seems a dishonor to portray them as help. See, now these type of and he hearted it. So that you see what his intention is. His intention is to show you that, oh no, there were some criminals anyway. So us killing them is just normal. No. Like I gave you the example of a fact. The portion that is being pushed throughout the world is of the thug nigga, the hardcore nigga, the this nigga, the that. But that's not the truth. That doesn't represent the whole nation. Okay, but like the devil is, just like what he does and did with the mindset of the Jacob descendants in America toward Africa, that's what he does here too, right? He does that same thing.
People showed up. It was a violent world. Now, that doesn't make you...
It was a violent world? Let's see what the Russians have to say about this same thing. Now, I'm going to be quiet for like 12 minutes, which is very new. No, I'm playing. In the video it is. But most of the time I'm silent. But I'm going to play this video. About 12 minutes, so bear with me, Lord willing. Yeah, I think I should put this then.
Horrors of Thanksgiving and America as a white future minority. Coming up.
Far and away the most massive genocide in the history of the world. The lowest life expectancy in the West. And the year the U.S. will turn native.
Virtually none of Thanksgiving has an ounce of accuracy, notes the bestseller Lies My Teacher Told Me. The idea of Europe bringing civilization to the Americas simply flips truth on its head. This is what European explorers actually found in North America.
Far and away the most beautiful city on earth. 5 times the size of London or Rome. Great towers and buildings rising from the water. 60,000 gleaming houses, and how spacious and how well built they were. Of beautiful stonework and cedarwood, and the wood of other sweet-scented trees. The many streets and boulevards of the city were so neat and well swept, despite the multitude of inhabitants, crisscrossed with a complex network of canals, like an enormous Venice, but also remarkable floating gardens that reminded of nowhere else on Earth.
While Europe was drinking water from its polluted city rivers, huge aqueducts transported America's water from fresh springs.
But what impressed most were the special merchant areas where timber and tiles and other building materials were bought and sold, as well as greengrocer streets where one could buy every sort of vegetable, fruits, honeys, nut paste and chocolates. Astonished by the personal cleanliness and hygiene of the colourfully dressed populace, and by their extravagant use of soaps, deodorants and breath sweeteners.
Most Europeans never bathed and kept clothes on at all times. The Pilgrim's Notes biographer Zini Feiner had a terrible smell. Indians tried, quote, without success to teach them to bathe. The settlers also had bad breath from rotting teeth. Death and starvation was so common that corpses were just dumped in open pits known as poreholes. Many turned to alcohol and committed suicide. In fact, the story of the first settlers has been deliberately changed, notes author James Lowen, because the truth's so shameful. They actually settled hundreds of miles further south and stayed in America because the mission was a failure. Their real aim, reports historian Robert Beverly, was to find some gold and take it back to Europe.
They spent their days digging random holes in the ground, haplessly looking for gold instead of planting crops. Soon they were starving and digging up putrid Indian corpses to eat. They took some Indian prisoners and forced them to teach the colonists how to farm.
And the meal with the natives wasn't quite the Thanksgiving shown on TV and in schoolbooks.
The colonists offered the Indians a toast to eternal friendship, whereupon the chief, his family, advisors, and 200 followers dropped dead of poison.
In mainstream history books, perhaps the most common description of American territory then is virgin land. In fact, notes historian Peter Jennings, it was widowed, horrific enough the Nazi ethnic cleansings in Europe during World War II. Leading American studies professor David Stannard notes it's dwarfed by, quote, far and away the most massive act of genocide in the history of the world. The death of 100 million indigenous people in the, quote, American Holocaust, some from disease but also vast numbers from a deliberate policy aimed at wiping out the race that mainstream history books continue to pretend never happened. He knows when Heinrich Himmler called the final solution, quote, delousing, Himmler was only echoing the Pilgrim Army's rallying cry, nits make lice, nits being Indian babies. This was a map of Indian nations across the US. 80% of the first government's entire budget went on attacking existing Indian settlements to take their developed farmland. Settlers would most probably not have survived, writes Jennings, on their own. 95% of America's entire population was then wiped out. American Holocaust notes there is documented evidence of colonist leaders going town after town, deliberately killing all men, women and children. Yet school texts and history books remain silent. Orders came from the very top. Under the direct order of George Washington, at least 28 of 30 Seneca towns and all the towns of the Mohawk, Onondaga and Cayuga were simply obliterated. George Washington wrote the Indian country, quote, must be destroyed. Thomas Jefferson called to, quote, pursue Indians to extermination. Nobel Peace Prize winner Theodore Roosevelt called beneficial the eradication of the native race. Standard notes genocide was official public policy. California Governor Peter Burnett in his 1851 message to the legislature.
Extermination must continue to be waged until the Indian becomes extinct.
Another governor issued the public proclamation to, quote, pursue, kill and destroy all Indians. A witness notes the ensuing bloodbaths practically wiped out the native race.
The whites shoot them down like wolves, men, women and children, wherever they could find them. This war of extermination against the Aborigines is tending to the final extinction of the race.
What reportedly saved the race from extinction was their use as slave labor.
This extermination policy has proved so injurious to the interests of the whites. Indian labor is indispensable.
Highly prized slaves were Indian girls as young as 3, said the Marysville Appeal, for fulfilling double roles of labor and of lust. Phil Lane Jr. is hereditary chief of the Hankton One First Nation. Phil, really great to see you. What facts are being airbrushed out of history?
Practices were that sometimes you don't want to speak about, and they not only wiped out most of the people, but the way they did it, the greatest loss of people any time in history.
Cultural genocide is still being waged on surviving Indians, reports Truthout. From the start of the 20th century, children were forced into so-called Indian boarding schools, designed to, quote, kill the Indian in them, according to the system's founding father, Richard Pratt. Indians are obliged to change their name to a Western one like Tom, made to dress and style their hair like whites. Indigenous Americans are also forced to adopt Christianity and all other parts of Western culture. Lenore Stefan witnessed the abuse firsthand. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Can you tell us what happened?
Federal policy here was to take the Indian out of the person. They beat the language out of like my father. He grew up his whole life, his hands were kind of bent. As a result, he used to talk our native language, but he never wanted me to learn. I consider myself a recovering Catholic because of, the sexual abuse that I experienced, from the Catholic Church.
Daniel Sheehan says the genocide is continuing. He's helped start the Lakota Child Rescue Project to stop the forcible removal of Indian children. Daniel, thanks a lot for coming on. Could you tell us what is happening to the children?
And what we discovered is that not only were the children being taken on an epidemic level, that it was happening on every single one of the reservations and in virtually every one of the major cities. The International Convention Against Genocide actually has a provision which expressly identifies what's going on as genocide. That the systematic undertaking on the part of the racially dominant culture in a given nation state, taking away indigenous children from their native tribes and putting them in the white culture has been identified as genocide.
Even the Supreme Court still upholds natives' second-class status to this day, writes noted legal scholar Robert Williams. He joins us now. It's really great to speak to you. Can you give us some examples?
1 out of 3 Indian women will be raped during their lifetime. In 86% of those cases, the victims report that it's a non-Indian that perpetuated the sexual assault or the rape. This has been traced directly to the inability of tribes to prosecute these crimes. One of the points I make in my book, Savage Anxieties, is that if you look at the history of the more civilized nations' treatments, so-called more civilized nations' treatments of indigenous peoples, it really makes you wonder who are the savages and who are the more civilized. One very famous...
It makes you wonder who are the savages and who are the more civilized. I said I was going to be quiet for 12 minutes, but yeah, I'll put the link in the description box so you could check it out for yourself. And I hope you got this part, how they were living before these Edomites came to the land and basically stole. It's not basically, they stole it. Excuse me. So let me see this. Okay, And I have more documented truth showing you that they are murderous devils and just criminals and liars above that. Don't forget that part. Don't forget that part. The lying part coming out their snout. So this guy's, and like I said, this guy, you know, talking about violent, it was a violent, no, it fucking wasn't. Yes, they did things, and I can show you that here. So also, I know about those things, but it's the same thing with the so-called black people in America. You know, it's the same thing with that. Concerning the gangs and stuff like that. Not all of them are acting like that. Yeah, not all of them. As soon as you come up in their neighborhood and they don't know you, they turn into some caucus males talking about, "Hey nigger, you know where you at, boy? Get that nigga." That's what they because they are just like their father, the devil. That's exactly what they. "Hey nigga, you know where you at?" Shit like that, you know. They got that from their daddy. "Nigga, you know where you at, boy?" They got that from their daddy, man. Well, so, but anyway, I saw Native Americans commenting here, talking that chitter chatter shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But again, they don't know. These are the things that these devils were doing. You have a lot of these type of tortury diary and stuff like that.
You're bound.
Here, this guy has a lot of provocative avatar pictures and stuff like that. These are the things that these devils used to do. The Vikings wasn't them, but they were doing these things too. What they were doing to these nuns. Like, he has a lot of these I never clicked on none of his videos. I always see it in the recommendation thing. I never click on it. I never will, because I don't want to see this shit. He puts these little homo type of bestiality type of thing. I want to kill this motherfucker, man. You know, I hate people like this, you know, with their little provocative type shit. I don't like this shit. But anyway, look, see what I'm saying? Anyway, these are devils, man. These are devils. These are the things that they did, and still doing until this day. Yeah, if you've seen the Jeffrey Epstein type of things, well, not see it, but you know about it. These are the type of things that they do with children too, until this day. John Podesta, I don't even know if you know about him, but that's that Pizzagate guy, which they want to hardly debunk. You know, they're really hard. They're really trying to debunk it and stuff like that. See, another one of these fucking things. Ottoman Turks is their race. It's the same things. Are Edomites. These are the things that they used to do. Yeah, just by looking at the thumbnails, you should know, like, this is a violent fucking race, man. A demonic entity race. Anyway, torture diary, whatever. So this person says here, I am Choctaw. Half of our songs are about glory of defeating the neighbors in raids, anyway, and battles and capturing their people. Ain't that what the thug niggas? Ain't that what the gangster rappers all about? About the next hood, how they kill them and take their shit, take their chain, and just do shit, bullshit, man. Does that represent the whole nation? What the fuck you? But then again, I can't. Well, I can get angry. You can do whatever you want. A lot of things, but I mean, I shouldn't be angry. But I'm still angry because I'm thinking, like, you still get tricked by these devils, man. It's 2026. You still get tricked by them. How can you still get tricked by them? You can't think for yourself. But then again, not everybody. That's why the Heavenly Father loved King David, because he really took care of the sheep. Ezekiel chapter 34, he fed them. Ezekiel 30, with knowledge and wisdom and understanding, he fed them. Ezekiel 34:23, and the Heavenly Father and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of everything and anything. Because that's what King David was doing. What's that again? Oh yeah. So Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Once you fear the Heavenly Father, then you will, Lord willing, of course, you will start to get that wisdom and understanding. Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Instruction from what? The Bible. Wisdom from where? The Bible. Jeremiah 5:15, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So with all the wisdom and knowledge that you get, you need to get the understanding. You have the knowledge of a television that it is a projective, or it is somebody projected into the screen. Well, not into the, I mean on the screen. And if you understand that, then you would know the pixels and all that thing came together. And then that is what is forming the image that you see. It's not the person, it's the image of the person. So, stuff like that, stuff like that. But anyway, and he shall feed them, even my servant David, he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And let me see, and I, Yahweh, will be their power, and my servant David, the prince among them. So King David is basically going to be the prince of kings, and the Lord Shahawashai is going to be the king of kings. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. It's just the title that I gave him, because it says it right here. So I say that. Prince of Kings, and Yahweh will be King of Kings. And all that there. But yeah, a shepherd. You have the 144,000 will be shepherds, Lord's willing. No, not Lord willing. They will be shepherds. That's the point. But they will lead the people toward the truth, toward Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua, and toward all the other truths. And they will be pulling down strongholds and teaching our people like, no, that's not the truth. They're lying to you. Here is the truth. Whether you believe it or not. Whether they for here or for bear. But here, again, so capturing in battles from their people, capturing their people. We have legendary chiefs who own black slaves. Ain't all sunshine and rainbows. The black slave thing was, look, you had, the Bible speaks about slavery, but we had a beautiful slavery amongst each other. Not the one with rigor. Here. Oh shit, sorry, not Hebrew. What is it again? Exodus 20, I think. Oh yeah, Exodus 21. If you buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go free for nothing. And also you have here the book of Deuteronomy chapter, Exodus? I think also Deuteronomy 15. But yeah, Exodus 25, which speaks, no, it's Leviticus 25 actually. I should have done. It was Leviticus. But Deuteronomy is good too. Deuteronomy 15 and 12. Here, brother, servant, sold. And it says here, verse 13, and when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, which is your food, threshing floor, which is where the grain is being... the grain is being flattened so that it become flour. So that it will become flour. Grind it. Where your grain is grinded. Yeah, that's it. And out of the wine press, or you give him wine too. And of that wherein Yahweh thy power had blessed thee, thou shalt give him. So if the Heavenly Father give you an abundance of gold, you give him. If the Lord give you abundance of silver, you give him. Anything that you have an abundance of gems, you give him. Yeah? And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Mizraim, and Yahweh thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing this day. So we had basically butlers. This was a butler. This was a butler for 6 years, and then the 7th he goes out free. And a butler has a great life. Because butlers, they get to live in mansions and stuff like that, And a lot of these butlers, they didn't want to leave because it says you also right here in Numbers 21. It says here, verse 5, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. So he can do that too. It's a law that says it right there, And you have these butlers that was living in these big mansions and stuff like that. And even Abraham had a servant that was not of our people. He was I forgot what he was, but he was another nation. And then Abraham said, I will give all my stuff to him because I have no children. Then the Most High said, nah, basically you gonna get some. And then when he got his first son, Ishmael, he thought, okay, then I'm going to leave everything to him because I'm about to die soon anyway. So, and then the Most High said, no, you're going to get another son, which is Isaac. And then, everything from there, Lord willing, everything went through Isaac and stuff like that. But the point is, of that little story, it was the butler that was about, if nothing else happened, if the Heavenly Father did not intervene, it would be the butler that would inherit this mansion. It would be the butler. So the slavery of the Caucasus, the devil, is not to be compared with the slavery of the Jacob descendants. Yeah. We didn't break ours, and if we didn't do what they did. That's the point. Okay, let me not dwell too much on that. There are individual people that are pieces of shit. Yeah, so you have to understand that one. You have froward people. I don't like them. And then you have people that are very kind and stuff like that. I like that more. But that's just a personal preference. It's like, hey, not everybody likes the color orange. And even if I say orange is a favorite color, you don't know what type of orange I'm talking about. It might be the one going into darker red or brown. Actually, I wanted to say, because I was looking for it. It might be the one going into brown, which is, less on it and stuff like that. But if you didn't know, brown goes into orange and orange goes into brown and stuff like that. And also red, of course. But yeah, this is the spectrum of the color. That type of stuff. So you don't know. I don't know. Right. So anyway, so yeah, that's just an example. So we had different type of slaveries upon each other and stuff like that, But according to the Heavenly Father, this was normal, was allowed, and you were not allowed to have it longer than a certain period. Anyway, who owned black slaves? Don't worry too much about that. I'm focusing more on the goddamn devil. So I'm not focusing on this shit. Anyway, so I have seen, let me see, I have seen another comment that irritated me. Yeah, I have seen these idiots trying to claim to see these people like this, because this guy popped it up. This guy starts to make them feel that type of way. But it's not all good, actually. I'm furious. But Heavenly Father willing, Lord willing, man, then we have more enemies for once that time comes, of the Jacob descendants receiving that spiritual power. Then we have more people to slaughter. I pray I'll be one of them. The one that does this, the Jeremiah 16:16. That one I want. Let me see. As a native, when I try to tell our natives this kind of history, they don't want to hear it. They like the white man bad. Our land was stolen. This. You see these type of people? You see this type of people? Hey, and we were just earth-loving, peaceful people till the devil took it. Well, a big bulk of you were peaceful. I just showed you the video that the Russian Edomites show, and I'm not trying to boast up Russia because I don't like them neither. But at least this motherfucker came up with the truth, because this is from Russia Today. And they took that off of YouTube, but not, well, they took the channel, but not their videos, because their videos are sprinkled left and right and stuff like that. If you remember the name, then you might find it. It was a section of Russia Today called Truth Seekers. And here in the Netherlands, I used to have that channel on the television. They took it. They took it a few years ago, man. They took that channel off of the package that you get. You can't get that package no more. They don't give it. They don't sell it no more. You can't get it. So now you need to figure it out online somewhere. It's crazy, man. But that's the devil. Okay. So now going to the other videos that I had here, which is what I was originally going into, actually, which is this.
Seller, a book by Howard Z.
Now I'll get to this guy later. Sorry, I'll get to this guy later. But yeah, but you know what? Leave it. But I'll still get to him. But I'll just talk. Okay, let me go.
in A People's History of the United States.
Listen. People's History of the United States. Now listen to what he says now, okay? Concerning this video still here talking about that the people were savages, basically. All of them. Like, what the fuck are this devil talking about, man? Just like that video that I couldn't finish it. I was in like a few seconds. With this one, I can't. I'm too violent. I can't. I can't do this. I can't listen to this guy talk. Oh, he's emotional. I see the devil. So you don't talk to devils. You wait. You know what I'm saying? You wait, you pray, you wait, you pray, you pray, you wait. And then we're gonna see. We're gonna say, Heavenly Father, what he gonna allow? I ain't talking to you.
European settlers, the good guys. The frontier was a clash of two brutal systems. And
brutal system? What the fuck is he talking about? You was fighting against the native that was maybe like the equivalent of the gangster dudes and stuff like that. You know, the Bloods and Crips and all that type of stuff. You was fighting the equivalent of them. But then you have to understand, in that time there were no policing going around, so they was kind of more violent. If you let the Bloods and Crips loose, they would do some shit that you would be like, hey, send the KKK toward them, man. Even Tupac had a song, what was it, Dear Mr. President? Send the troops or something like that. I know. Send more troops. Dear Mr. President, tell me what to do. These niggas acting up in the hood. Send more troops. Yeah, send them troops, man. Send them fucking troops for these goddamn sons of bitches, man. Fuck their mama too, man. Send the troops for them. Send them. They making us sick here. You devils did this in the first place, but these clown ass motherfuckers, they be making it worse. They're screwing over their own people, murdering their own. I remember back in the 90s, in order for them to get in the gang, you had this movie called, what's this movie called? Wait, I'm going to finish the thought. You had this movie called, New Jack City. What did he do to get in the gang? He had to kill a random so-called black person. And then he killed this guy's mother. A tier or in the gang, something like that. Let me see. He had to kill somebody. That's the point. He had to kill somebody. Let me see. New Jack City. Platinum. He had to kill his mother, something like that. Yeah, see? His mother, who Nino killed in a gang initiation. So they had to just kill a random black person or something like that, you know? So-called black person, you know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying. So basically, in the movie, you had shit like that. The Mexicans do it too. MS-13, they need to do certain things, you know, but they had their own little set of rules. But still, for their initiation, they need to do stuff to earn a tier or whatever. But that still doesn't represent all the so-called Mexicanos upon the planet Earth. It represents a big bulk of them. Well, not even a big. Compared to the rest of the people, that's not a big bulk. But it looks large because they're filming it. They're not filming the hard-working people working and stuff like that. They don't do that. Why would they do that, by the way? They're devils. I mean, they're trying to make you look as bad as possible in order for them to be so you wasn't that bad at all. Phew, I can be proud again about myself. Oh, yeah, devil shit, you know? But anyway, enough of all this. Let me go back to over here. No, I don't think it was this one. Here. Now listen carefully, right?
Listen to what this Native American chief said in 1832 about white people after his people were betrayed for like the fucking millionth time by the white people who were constantly trying to renege on the treaties and agreements that they would form with the Native American people. And so essentially they would form agreements, they would completely like renege on them and then become very violent towards them. Listen to what
they become very violent toward them. And I'm gonna read the rest here in the book, the history book of Hernando de Soto. I like this guy. And this guy too. This guy. And this guy. They dope. I'm starting to see more people waking up toward these devils, you know. They have a seal in them, but not according to the knowledge of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, but something is in them and I like it. See the hatred there. Well, it's not really hatred. It's like they know who the enemy is. That's what I like, you know. And this clown ass Negro, I hate him. I already know what I want concerning him. He's a house Negro. He got attacked by his cousin because he is a caucus. He's a fucking conservative, something like that. He needs to be put to death. That's what I think. I don't care if you side with Esau. That's a no-no. And when they say I talk white, well, you do talk white. Because you don't want to be yourself. You want to assimilate into them. They hate your guts. Why don't you just talk normal, like how your people are supposed to? I'm not. Do I sound like I'm talking like I'm from the street? I don't sound like that. I speak normal English, as far as I know. But you know damn sure that you're not talking to a caucus guy, motherfucker. I don't cuss often like that, but just normally. The point is, if I normally talk to you, I'm not gonna cuss like that. It's just whatever. I'm talking to myself right now in the camera. But the point is that, you know, you need to know that I'm not them. You need to know that I'm my own people, I'm mine. So when it's like a person that says to me like, well, I don't see color. Fuck you. You need to know who you're addressing, man. You need to know that you're addressing a so-called, a so-called black person and stuff like that. You need to know that you're addressing somebody that's not you. You need to acknowledge my forefathers and my people. You need to acknowledge my race. I mean, you need to acknowledge that shit, man. Don't be coming to, I don't see color. What the fuck? You better recognize that I am from that race. What do you mean you don't see? That's a devil right there. I don't see color. What? That's a snake tongue devil right there. That's the devil right there. You need to acknowledge my race. What are you talking about? I know yours. Every person that I see race. What are you talking about? Unless you're mixed up, then I'm looking at yourself like, and I'm looking at you like, what? If I see your hair, most likely I'll know what you are, because your hair, it tells a lot of things about you. If you're mixed up or what. And this guy also justifies this guy. Where is he? Was it here? Oh, this guy. He also justifies him. He said he's not wrong, but I'll get to that later. That's why I don't like this guy. You know, one of them house Negroes that has a voice. Can't wait to shut them up. But yeah, this guy's a brother. This guy's dope. Brother man here again. And this guy. But anyway, let me go on.
What this chief said after he had to eventually surrender because they were outnumbered so much. This is Chief Blackhawk in 1832. I fought hard, but your guns were well aimed. The bullets flew like birds in the air and whizzed by our ears like the wind through the trees in the winter. My warriors fell around me. The sun rose dim on us in the morning, and at night it sunk in a dark cloud and looked like a ball of fire. That was the last sun that shone on Black Hawk. He is now a prisoner to the white men. He has done nothing for which an Indian ought to be ashamed. He has fought for his countrymen, the squaws and the papooses, against white men who came year after year to cheat them and take away their lands. You know the cause of our making war. It is known to all white men. They ought to be ashamed of it. Indians are not deceitful. The white men speak bad of the Indian and look at him spitefully. But
this is exactly what this devil is doing right here. You got to call the devil because let the devil know, like, oh, he racist too, just like me. God damn, I didn't know that. Yeah, you need to let them know. But yeah, only the ones that are racist, they know about me. Okay. But if you're a normal Caucasus, you're most likely not gonna see it, because the scripture said loose from that. But the scripture does say, if it possible, live at peace with all men. So you're not gonna notice it until you open your mouth. You make some light skinned joke. I want to murder. You know what? I'm not. Like this guy. You say some dumb slick shit, right? Yeah, slick shit. Yeah, right. Just a little bit. Like what'd you say? I'm not even gonna ask that shit. Bruh. Anyway, if you don't say nothing dumb, you're not gonna notice me. You say something stupid, you're on my radar, and I'm not coming back from that one. Like what? Nah. But you know what the funny thing is? If you don't check them, they would just continue to do their thing. But if you check them, and then they might be stopping or something like that, or they just wash it around you. Don't think that he changed. He only changed because you reacted. Yeah. In his heart, he's just like them. Why? Because he thinks he looks like them, or therefore he doesn't even look like them. But he thinks he's in that category, like he's some kind of higher than you. Yeah, I want to pull people like that down.
Indian does not.
And then I step on, and then I'm higher than you. But normally I won't do that.
Tell lies. Indians do not steal. An Indian who is as bad as the white men could not live in our nation.
Did you get that? You had robber Native Americans, and when these types saw them, they killed them. They would kill them if they saw the savages and stuff like that. But you have to understand, the country is big, man. Yeah? People in New York don't know what is going on in Jersey other than, oh, I saw it on the television. If the television wasn't there, you wouldn't know shit. Unless somebody from there came to here, or from here went to there. Other than that, you wouldn't know things that they're doing over there. You wouldn't know. Well, what are you talking about? So to say that when the caucus came to the native, they're lying to you, man. Why are you being lied to? At this point in time, you're allowing to be lied to. Well, I shouldn't say that actually, because I want you to be like, no, I'm not trusting this devil. Let me figure it out for myself. That's what you should be saying, man. Come on, man. It's 2026 right now, man. Stop believing these false people. They're lying to you. But anyway, let me go on.
He would be put to death and eaten up by the wolves in our nation. An Indian who is as bad as the white men could not live in our nation. He would be put to death and eaten up by the wolves. Justice. The white men are bad schoolmasters. They carry false books and deal in false actions. They smile in the face of the poor Indian to cheat him. They shake them by the hand to gain their confidence, to make them drunk, to deceive them. That's what they're doing to Sneeko right now. And to ruin our...
Fuck Sneeko. He needs to perish with them.
Our wives. We told them to leave us alone and keep away from us. Sounds like black people, right? We're always saying why these niggas don't fucking leave us alone, why they always got our names in their mouth, right? They followed on and beset our paths, and they coiled themselves among us like the snake. They poisoned us by their touch. We were not safe. We lived in danger. We were becoming like them. Hypocrite.
Did you get that? What happened to the Jacob descendants when we were the 12 tribes and we were among them? What happened? You're like your father, the devil. That's what happened. Hey, you know where you at, boy? Hey, nigga, you know where you at? Hey, you in wrong side of town, nigga. What's up? Hey, nigga, what set you claim, fool? See? Hey, nigga, you know where you at, boy? Yeah! That's their daddy. They got it from them. Now it says right here, and you might say, oh, well, the Native Americans, yeah, but if you see the Native Americans, the crazy ones, they look like, well, what do you think this looks like? This looks like a bunch of Hamites to me. And they were doing this, yes. These ones were doing it. But the other ones that I showed you, that even the Russian Edomites, they show you Russia Today. That was the news channel. They show you the other ones. So basically, these will be the Bloods and the Crips fighting each other and also robbing from the other normal peaceful ones. Pardon. And then these would be bombastically propagandized by the caucus. As in, no, this is all of them. Same way that he portrays the so-called blacks in America toward the world. Because a lot of Korean and Japanese and Chinese, when they come over here in the Netherlands, and they scared. They scared if I walk by them. Not all of them, but a lot of them, they're scared. They really they have fear. They have fear if I stand next to them. I'm going to steal something. They have fear, man. I see it in them. Them caucus chicks, the only time a caucus chick does that here in the Netherlands is when she's jealous. So she want to hurt you. She know she can't get you. So she want to upset you. Like, oh, how dare you? So she going to do something stupid. That's because you ain't slanging that dick up on them. Then they hate you. But that's a form of... you dodged the bullet, because if you did sleep with her and you got her pregnant, you'd be in hell, because now she has she got something on you now. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see your child. So it's a blessing when you not reject the chick. It's more as you don't give the attention that she thinks she desires or wants. You just be normal with it. Then you're going to see a certain type of animosity. You're going to see a certain type of animosity. First they like it, and then you don't give them that type of like back. It's not even that you don't do it. It's more, I just don't trust you, you know? I'm just giving an example, man. Because even with a Jake woman, I see that it's all women, but with a Jake woman, right? You shouldn't just jump into bed right away because you don't know what type of person it is. So you kind of observe and see what type of person it is. And when you see an animosity pops up, you'd be like, damn, I'm lucky I didn't sleep with you. Yeah, you dodged the bullet. Because if you did, she would be intimate with you, which means she's a lot closer. And people that are closer, they can turn into your biggest enemy. And who better to be the bigger enemy than a woman? Because you sleep with her, you be intimate with her. She knows a lot of your things, not secrets that you told her. I'm not loose from that too, but loose from that. I mean, like your daily doings and stuff like that. You know, stuff. You know what you do. You know what you do inside your house that nobody would know unless it's a woman and she's living right there with you and she sees you. It's very irritating because now your stuff is out there. That's why you should watch out with who you lay down and stuff like that. But anyway, sorry, going back to over. This is the part that they push forward as if this is the representation of all the nations. Don't get tricked. Don't get tricked.
And liars, adulterous.
They are liars. What's the scripture that I was looking for? Here, Psalms 106 and 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Heavenly Father commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. Flying reindeers, because now you have a grove in your house. What are groves? What are groves? Groves are trees, basically, but sacred trees, sacred groves. It goes into Ashtaroth, which is the Queen of Heaven. That's her title. She has different names: Ashtaroth, Ashtarim, all these type of crazy names. It's the same thing. Just like Satan, Baal, Baphomet, Beelzebub, or whatever. Molech, Malak, and Milcom is all three of them are the same. But now they changed Molech into an owl. Here. Bohemian Groves. They changed Molech into an owl, but actually he's a cow. You know, a cow deity, whatever. Baal, the heifer, which all goes back to Nimrod, but yeah, whatever. The thing is that they change names and forms and stuff like that, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But yeah, the groves. That's this, man. So you have the groves. You're worshiping groves when you have a Christmas tree in your house, man. That's what it is. That's all. That's also another form of it. Which you can call. It's the groves, man. And you should burn it with fire. Yeah, take it out. Don't even put it in the house. I wanted to say take it out the house first, then set it on fire. How about not having it in the house? It is better. What do you think? Samuel said. Is it better to obey, or to give sacrifice unto the Lord? Well, if you obey, you don't have to kill these animals. You can snuggle with them and find them cute and all that type of stuff. You don't have to kill them and drain their blood. Because that's your blood that should be spilling actually if you do that. But then you make them take your place to a certain degree, which is just patching wounds. Because Yahushua said that the blood of an animal cannot take away your sins. It can patch it to a certain degree, but how about you stop? And then you don't have to patch anything. Well, that's why the Lord Yahushua is here. So now you don't have to kill the animals. Hebrews chapter 10. So it says here, who were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. That for the wrath of the Lord. Okay, cool. Let me finish this, and then I'm going to make another part.
Lazy drones and talkers and no workers. The white men do not scout the head.
And about the lazy workers and stuff like that, I have another part. Like I said, Hernando de Soto, he was around at the time of Christopher Columbus. He has a book called, let me see, The History of Hernando de Soto and something with Florida. But yeah, I'll show you that they didn't want to work. So they gathered up the natives and they make them go get the gold for them. And then they killed themselves. And then they still didn't want to work. And then they went to go get the so-called Afro people. And then they put them to work. But there were also Afro people in the land when Hernando de Soto was there, because he wrote about it. But anyway, I'll get to that. But just like how you have the image of the so-called black people in their head in America toward the continent of Africa, that's the same way that they did them with the mindset toward the Native Americans. A lot of countries outside of America, they document the truth about when they went to America, what they saw. They saw the Negro ones, and they saw the Tonti ones, and they saw the ones with sharp faces and stuff like that. They documented this. But in America, nobody knows about. A lot of people don't know about this. They're finding out now through the internet, yes. But I'm sure if another celebrity was to push this out further, then they would be like, oh, I didn't know that. Because a lot of our people, they still look up to celebrities, man, until this day. That's why I was shocked, like, wow, you didn't know this? You can't just go on Google and type in and just do this? You don't do this? You don't travel with your mind? You don't do that? You don't learn with your mind? You don't do that? And I came to the realization that they don't. They really do not do this. They don't. They absolutely do not do this. And it's amazing. It's amazing that, yeah, they don't do this. And I see a lot of people crying how that iShowspeed showed them that Africa is not people living in huts and stuff like that. And I'm amazed at that, kind of like, wow. And that's how I don't know, man, that's how fucked up these devils created them. But also another part is that our people do not consider, they themselves don't care, they're not interested. They just Isaiah chapter 1 speaks profoundly about, profoundly? Did I use, I want to use fancy words. I don't even know if I'm if I'm correct with it. Profoundly. Well, why did I use that word? Anyway, they don't even know. They don't even want to know. You know, Isaiah chapter 1 shows you that how they think, how the Israelites think. But is it 100% of them? You really believe that, man? Really? You know? Anyway, and here, look. And this is not even beautiful. This is just concrete and stuff like that. But the beautiful thing of it is you have your own lane of biking. It's just like the Netherlands. A lot of people, when they come to the Netherlands, they see the infrastructure. There's like, I don't want to go back to America because America has no infrastructure for passengers. They only have an infrastructure for, how you call that thing? Cars. They don't have roads where you can bike freely without no danger of a car. They don't have that. At least what I have seen off of many different American states. You know, here. The sidewalks over there just end. They just end. Look, this is despicable. Like, where are you supposed to? You can't. You need to walk by design. And they have a thing called jaywalking over there, which is, what the fuck? What is that? Well, I learned. I learned that if you stand here and you just cross here and the police sees you, they want to kill you. Let me see. Here. They want to arrest you. A lot of devils. You know, they do these things to you. You know, you can't walk from this to here. Even if there's no cars in sight. They choke you, grab you, choke you. There's crazy stuff. Here another one. Here's another one. I think here's another one too. I think it's a different one. Yeah, different one. This one is you know, the afro hair. This one is the kind of lesser afro hair. It's not straight. It's lesser afro. Let me see this one here. There's so many things, man. So many things. So I was like, hey, they do that? You can't just cross over the street, but you don't have no sidewalks. And I saw somebody from America that came here. No, he went to Thailand or something like that. I don't know his name, man. I saw him on YouTube and stuff like that. Damn, I don't know, man. I don't know. This guy speaks about it a lot. I know of him, I should say. I think I've seen her before. I don't know. When she says she's a brown person, I'm like, yeah, around here they don't call you brown. You don't look like that. This is brown. But she says that she's a brown person. I laughed at it because it's silly if you are this skin color and you call yourself a brown person in Europe. In America, she's a brown person, not here. And she said it too, like, oh, I'm a brown person here. I was like, what? You're not brown. Look at you. You look just like this, but only your face, because I can see that you're some form of Arabian. But you look Italian too. But she's some form of Arabian or something like that. I don't know. Didn't 100% focus on what she was saying. I glanced at it a little bit. I just wanted to know what she saw in America compared to here. A weekend. It was not a weekend. She said something about America, and she's from. Sorry, she said something about she's from America, and she said the differences here and there, and that's the video that I saw. So I click on a lot of these so-called videos and stuff like that. Anyway, I forgot the name of the guy, but yeah, he went to the Vietnam or something like that. And I saw him, so he was, for example, he was here, right? He was here. But there was no zebra path. I don't know how you call it in the English. But there was no path that you can walk in path. You know this zebra path? You know the black white thing that you see here? It wasn't here. So let's say he was here, right? And then he wanted to go all the way here and then here. Look, this is a highway. I wouldn't advise you to do that, by the way. Just cross here. But if it is a normal street, oh yeah, the one that I just showed. Did I click it away? If it's like a normal street, like this is not a highway. You could just cross here. It's normal. It's normal to do that here. Not the one that I just showed you. That's not normal. That's stupid. I would not tell you that. I would tell you to go walk here. But anyway, so this American guy, he was in, I forgot, one of the Asiatic countries. And then, sorry, let's go over here. But just imagine that this street, this one here, is here. So minus all the cars, and this is a higher way. So don't do it here. I'm not telling you to do that. That's dangerous. But a normal street, like a normal street, like, you know, average street, I should say, like not even normal, average. This is not average anyway. So he was around here, and then he had to walk he had to walk all the way here to here, and then cross here in order for him to get here. So I laughed at that, but I do understand in his mind, he thinks that if the police see you, they're gonna attack you. You know, they're gonna fight you, to choke you and stuff like that, right? So it is a different mindset that they have there and stuff like that. So I kind of understand that, but still crazy. If he, you know, still crazy. But anyway, let me go on.
But they do worse. They poison the heart. Farewell.
So they do worse. They poison the hearts. The white man do not scalp the head, but do worse. They poison the mind, which is worse. Because the reason why they scalped your bitch ass devil is because you came there. And I'm gonna read that here in Hernando de Soto thing. Let me go on.
Well, my nation, farewell to Black Hawk. You see, what happened was the Indians, they helped the American colonies to fight off the French. And
yes, they did. They helped them fight off the French. The slaves helped them too, but they will never give you the credit because they say that the Dutch helped them, which is true too. But they are deliberately taking away the natives that helped them. They're deliberately taking away the slaves that helped them, the so-called Afro people, because the Native Americans were slaves too. But a lot of them killed themselves, and I'm gonna read that here in the book of Hernando de Soto. They killed themselves. Yeah, but not all 100% of them, but a big bulk of them, especially on certain islands of South America, they killed all of them. They died, all of them. Yeah, hundreds of thousands. They killed themselves. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna read it. So let me explain it.
And eventually fight off the British to help these American colonies, and they were promised land. Treaties were signed, but guess what? One day, a white man found gold on native.
I can stop it right there. So you know what happened? They murdered them all, right? But anyway, so I'm gonna leave this description. I'm gonna leave this video in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. And I will make another part, and I'm gonna go into the other things that I have set up here, Lord willing.